Hello and welcome. Today was a day. Got some good sleep, made some good messes, so that's fun. Today's plant of the day is the bonsai tree. This is actually Alex's, but he wouldn't have it if it weren't for me. I bought it from one of those traveling bonsai salespeople that shows up in a parking lot, and I gave it to him for Father's Day. So, I don't know if you can see this, but it's kind of, I was surprised that it was just this little pokey, like, cedar, and I was kind of disappointed, but, the art of bonsai is, whoops, pieces are falling off, is interesting. They try to mimic how trees naturally grow in their natural state in nature. That was pretty redundant, but that's fine. So what they do is they try and keep it small. It's just a small version of what it shows like in nature. And there are different forms that they will do. And the way they keep it small is they keep it in a small pot, and then every couple of years you have to go in and you trim the roots back by like a third. And then you keep it in a small thing. And then they wire them in a certain way. I've got just a little bit of wire in here right now, not a whole lot, but they will wire them to train them to grow the way that they do. I've kind of not visited this one for a while, but I had it, I've been trying to get it to grow further, like more down, to match one of the forms. They actually have different names for them. So some of them will just grow. I think there are like 6 kinds that are kind of the main ones. So some of them grow straight up, and they'll like be small at the top and big at the bottom, like a pine tree kind of. Some of them will be straight up and just cut like a clump up at the top. Some of them will have like branches coming off either side, coming down. Some of them will be like full and kind of like taper over here. That's kind of what we're trying for here. And then they kind of cascade a little. And then some of them, they hang a weight on them so that they continue to grow down towards the ground. And they basically have to keep the weight on it to keep it growing towards the ground, because trees want to grow up towards the light. So anyway, haven't had a lot of chance to do a lot with this yet. Like I said, we just started training it to go down a little. I probably ought to do that again since we're getting into the good growing season. It goes faster, your moving does, if you do it when it's growing, obviously. But you can do it anytime. So anyway, that's the bonsai tree. And for the book of the day, I was going to do a different book, but then Stacy told me it was Tolkien Day, so I had to do a Tolkien book. So I had to do this one because I do enjoy Tolkien, but I haven't read all of the Lord of the Rings books. I got like halfway through the second one, and then I hit a point in my life where I stopped reading as much. Stacy says I'm a coward.
No, I said casual fan.
Oh, casual fan. I am casual. Did you see this t-shirt I'm wearing today? I'm also wearing gym shorts. I am a casual fan of everything right now. Anyway, so I picked The Hobbit, and The Hobbit is my favorite. I think even like, I mean, there's a lot of great stuff about the Lord of the Rings series itself, but The Hobbit is just a different tone. Probably through my lifetime, I have either been read or read this 5 times? A lot of times, because it is that good. And it's about Bilbo. He's just a happy little guy living his simple life, and then Gandalf sends him on a journey that's frowned upon for hobbits, and so he goes with dwarves, and it's just so great. Even though it's got a lot of action and adventure, it's still kind of like lighthearted. Not like the Lord of the Rings. There's a lot more death and dark, I feel like. but there's not quite so much in The Hobbit. And that's actually why I didn't love the adaptation of the movie. Actually, it took me a long time to be able to watch it without spouting off about how it differed from the book, because I am one of those people. But the movies, they didn't do a really great job. Peter Jackson didn't. It just, yeah, I don't really want to talk about it. It just made me sad and depressed instead of like happy and joyful. The first one did pretty well with capturing the quirkiness of the dwarves and the fun they were having, but it just got really weird and dark, and too many decapitations, and it wasn't an adaptation like this is a children's book. Like, when it all comes down to it, like, The Lord of the Rings, more advanced, more in-depth, more scary, but The Hobbit is not. And so that's why I was mad that they did that with the movie. So anyway, J.R.R. Tolkien, The Hobbit, happy Tolkien Day. You should read it. It's good. For the song of the day, I debated what to do. I have some really good ones that I'm working on, but they're not ready yet. And so since I've put most of my work into getting some of the other tougher ones ready, I went with one that was more simple, again. And so I went with the Londonderriere. No matter how I say that name, it sounds not very beautiful, but you know what I'm talking about. So this was an Irish melody. It's been around for ages, since like before the 1850s-ish, before, I don't know. Nobody really can trace it back to its beginnings. But anyway, it's most famously the tune for Danny Boy. So some guy in the 1903-ish, he set his poem Danny Boy, which had been put to other music, he put it to the Londonderriere. And so that's where a lot of people know it from, but it's a super popular song in Ireland. They sing it for like soccer games or whatever they're doing over there. So anyway, it's a big deal in their culture, and that's what I'm playing for you. Stepped on a pokey from the bonsai tree. So that was the Londonderry Air, traditional Irish melody. And that's all I have for today. So have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow.